So one of the things that we've seen in the last week is obviously the Bank of Canada raised their interest rates.
Yes.
So now the prime rate went from 3.2 to 3.45. It's up 0.25%, 0.25%. So if you have a mortgage that's about $200,000, you're going to pay about $50 more per month. So the reason that's obviously relevant, which interest rates always are, is because it makes homes just a touch less affordable. And the 1-2 punch of having the mortgage rule tests as well as the interest rates makes you believe that it should slow activity a little bit further in the marketplace. Now, I got to just say something, because I have loans that are on variable interest rates, mortgages, et cetera, things like that. One of the things that you can sort of take peace in knowing is that when the Bank of Canada raises their interest rate, it's because the economy is doing better.
Yeah.
And that is relevant to different parts of the country, but Alberta is starting to see some good activity. We're starting to see some stuff come up. So you can look at this one of two ways. Either A, it's like, oh gosh, that's horrible. It's not a huge jump. And the second thing is that you can take some peace in knowing that, gosh, everyone's more optimistic about the economy. Therefore, interest rates are going up. That's a natural progression.
The other thing too, so I just got back I wasn't on CIR Live last weekend because I was in Toronto visiting my family. And the family I was visiting just sold a home and bought a home in Toronto. So it was really in the mix. And they were part of that group that was, kind of waiting because everything was so expensive. And then there was a bit of a correction. But what's interesting is if these mortgage rules are going to affect anybody, it's affecting it in places like Toronto and Vancouver where people can't afford and can't qualify to begin with, let alone because all these homes are so expensive.
Yep.
But what's interesting, so my cousin's aunt is a realtor, and she was saying that so far what she's seen is it's not like sales aren't stopping, but homes just can't sell for as much.
Right.
Like the same homes that are listed and we're planning on being listed are, but you just can't quite get the same because people can't qualify for. But it makes it all balances because if you're buying, you're selling. Anyways,
and the good news, that Calgary wasn't inflated like Toronto and Vancouver were.
No.
Yeah, so we never had that. So hopefully this year we just see a nice even, maybe a 1% price growth or something.
Well, that's just it. So if you don't see massive bad things happening in a market like Toronto over these rules, I just think that in Calgary, hopefully it's not that bad either.
Yeah, this interest rate hike doesn't scare me, in summary. Okay, let's look at the actual numbers. One of the things you're going to see is obviously the price of oil.
Still good.
Yeah, it's still really good. So sitting
good.
at $63.51 a barrel, down slightly, and the Canadian dollar followed that a little bit as it traditionally does. Still very strong, 80 cents US. So that's great to see too if you plan on traveling down south.
Absolutely. Number of listings up, and I think week after week after week, these will always be going up for the next couple of months. So Metro Calgary, 4,654, and Red Deer, 527.
Yeah, not much movement upwards in terms of the Red Deer listings. So I expect to see that number climb quite a bit more as well, as you said. The months of inventory still sitting with a 30-day gap. We're going to start to see these numbers probably get a bit worse before they get a little bit better. But by the end of about 2 weeks from now, we should start to see some movement the other way as we start recording a bunch of sales. So Calgary, overall, sitting at 5.93 months of inventory. Single-family homes, 4.5 months of inventory. And condos, 9.04. Buyer's market across the board right now.
And surrounding areas, Okotoks, 6.19. Airdrie, 6.3. Cochrane, 10.72. Strathmore is at 12. Sundre, 19.75. Chestermere, 6.27. Red Deer, 7.98. And benchmark price, still sitting at $433,200.
Again, wait a little bit. I expect these numbers to improve, although I'm not an economist, but again, given the gap of the holidays.
But they do every year.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
That's exactly
but they just do every year.